Allen, I would like to call you up. I would like to move to our next priority and have invited our city manager, Allen Bogard, to join me. Allen? As many of you know, Sugar Land operates under a council management form of government where the city council sets our policies and works with the appointed city manager who oversees the day-to-day operations. We truly appreciate Allen's work and commitment to our community. And with that, I will hand it over to Allen, who will inform you of several of our next initiatives. Allen.
Thank you very much, Mayor. It's a pleasure to join you all this morning and be part of the 2016 State of the City. Mayor Thompson recognized our current and past council members that have led Sugar Land to the enviable position that it holds today. I'd also like to recognize the 697 city employees responsible for implementing the City Council's vision. Our city employees work to deliver the quality of life our residents have come to expect. I'd like to introduce my executive team here today. Steve Griffith, First Assistant City Manager, Jim Calloway, Assistant City Manager, Mike Goodrum, Assistant City Manager, and Meredith Reedy, Assistant City Attorney.
All right, Meredith.
And I'd also like to ask that our department heads please stand for recognition.
All right, where are the department heads?
Thank you all. Moving to our next priority, Great Place to Live, 97% of citizens rated Sugar Land as an excellent or good place to live. One of the main reasons for Sugar Land excelling as a great place to live are our extensive planning efforts. You may have heard a little bit about some discussions regarding the update to the city's future land use plan. The plan is essential to the city's regulation of land use as the city grows and ages. Today, development within the city limits is primarily non-residential, as we continue to see our city expand its role as a marketplace and employment center. This commercial development is essential to our efforts to keep taxes affordable. The future land use plan will guide the development of scarce remaining land. In addition, we need to get expanded direction and policy setting as our existing retail centers continue to age. Our Land Use Advisory Committee, consisting of 16 appointed citizens, will continue to work and complete recommended updates to the 2005 plan. We will continue to engage the public in a thoughtful dialogue to create policy to guide the city to a sustainable future. And over the next few years, Sugar Land will see its population grow significantly through annexation. Strategic partnership agreements establish annexation obligations for both new territory and Greatwood that will grow our population by roughly 30% to nearly 120,000 residents. Current planning efforts will ensure annexation is advantageous for both existing and future residents. In 2016, the city's Parks Board, recently reorganized Parks Board, and Parks Department staff will engage the community in an update to the city's Parks, Recreation, and Open Space Master Plan. With progress on our Parks bond projects, it's time to update the plan. We will seek input to determine future projects like the next phases of Brazos River Park and Ganaway Lake Park, and recommend timelines and implementation strategies. In light of the current issues that are occurring in Michigan right now, it's important to think through how, be grateful for all of the work that has been done to position the city well to meet the growing demand for future water needs. This year, the city will develop our integrated water resource plan, which will help guide decision-making as we prepare for the next phase of surface water conversion to avoid subsidence. This planning effort will provide overarching direction for future decisions on infrastructure investment and water resource management. As an example of the type of projects that we hope to identify is the recently completed reclaimed water treatment facility at the city's South wastewater treatment plant. Our partnership with MUD 128 provides up to 2 million gallons per day of treated wastewater effluent for irrigation and lake filling within the River Stone development. Our next priority, responsible city government, is fundamental to our goals as it's essential to achieving all other priorities. Proof of our past success on this priority is our inclusion in an elite group of cities that can boast of a AAA bond or credit rating. Further evidence of our success in responsible city government is seen in meeting our objective of keeping taxes affordable for our residents. And residents, 8-to-1, are satisfied with the value received in city tax dollars and fees for the services that the city provides. Yes, it's true that our tax rate is second lowest in Texas for cities over 65,000, but that's only part of the story. The city's portion of your total tax bill is less than 15% of the taxes, property taxes that you pay. And it equates to just about $1,005 on average for the average home. That is less than most of us pay for a cell phone or cable service. For those over 65, it's even less because we do a 70,000 homes over 65 exemption, and their tax bill averages $729. And how are our taxes so low? City Council has established financial management policy statements which limit growth in residential tax bills. And we have two strategies that we utilize to be able to accomplish that. The city's success in expanding our role as a retail marketplace has resulted in the reduction of property taxes of nearly 11 cents, or 1/3 of our current rate. I've added a picture of my tax bill. You can see the language there, and basically what it says is that because of local option sales tax that was adopted by a vote of the public of Sugar Land, under the leadership at the time of a couple of council members who are here now, former Mayor Dean Herbajic and Council Member Brian Gaston, were on the City Council when these votes took place and led the community to establish sales tax for property tax reduction. And you can see on my tax bill, my taxes were lowered, my city taxes, by over $400 in order to keep our taxes low by the crediting of sales tax for property tax reduction. Another way that our residential tax burden is kept affordable is the use of the homestead exemption to partially offset growing revaluation of homeowners' property. Over the past 9 years, the city has increased the homestead exemption from 1% to 8% for homeowners' taxes. That's equivalent to roughly 2-cent reduction on the tax rate, and it's targeted solely to owner-occupied homes. The city taxpayers continue to benefit from business investment and growth. The city's financial decision-making is contained within the annual budget and 5-year CIP. City charter mandates that the city manager balance the needs and the resources in a recommended budget each year. For all funds, the fiscal year 16 budget totals $238 million and covers the general fund, where most of the services are funded and is the largest fund, the enterprise funds, including utilities, capital improvements, and debt. The largest is the general fund, and it provides everything from police officer salaries to electricity for traffic signals, and totals almost $76 million. It's funded by a variety of revenues, with sales tax being the largest portion by far at 47.5%. In addition to being the largest source of revenue, it is also the least controllable and subject to economic conditions. For example, in 2010, we experienced a 5% year-over-year decline. Last summer, when the budget was set for fiscal year 16, we projected that sales tax revenue would grow by a modest 2%. And so far this year, we've actually not experienced that much growth. It's actually more like 1.5%, but we're pleased with that. Cities across the state of Texas are experiencing declines in revenue. And for example, the city of Houston in the month of January saw a 2.1% decline last month. The falling oil prices and resulting job cuts that are regularly being discussed in the community right now cause me to anticipate that we're going to continue to see softness in the economy and that it'll probably get worse before it gets better. Over the last 2 decades, the city has learned the challenges of being dependent on sales tax, and we've developed policy and protocol that help us be prepared for downturns. These financial management policy statements, again, that are approved by City Council and reviewed every 2 years, they've been praised by our rating agencies as strong and conservative, quote unquote. They set fund balance requirements, lay out the practice of conservative revenue projections, and define actions to be taken in the event of an economic slowdown. For example, the fund balance requirement for the general fund is 25% of expenditures. The fiscal year 16 budget projects a year-end fund balance of 28%. So we have a little room for revenue shortfalls before we fall below the policy limit. If we experience a 2% decline in sales tax instead of a 2% increase as we budgeted, it would threaten our fund balance target and require mid-year expenditure reductions. Our financial management policy statements lay out a predetermined strategy to make those adjustments. Hitting the fund balance minimum targets required by our policies is essential in maintaining our bond rating because we rely so heavily on sales tax. In addition to the annual operating budget, our 5-year capital improvement program totals $233 million. The largest piece of this is wastewater. This is mainly due to the need to add capacity at the plant, which is located in new territory, to meet demands of new growth, and that is primarily at the end of our 5-year forecast. The next largest piece is drainage. The Memorial Day record flood event highlighted areas needing some immediate attention, and we were able to add those to our CIP, and design is be taking place this year and funding of improvements next year that will help with structural flooding that occurred in the area of the Highlands neighborhood. In addition to quickly addressing areas that experience structural flooding, we are working on drainage projects in Sugar Creek and Covington Woods. These large multi-year drainage projects will address recurring problems with excessive street flooding that is to the point of affecting public safety. These problems have existed for decades. The proposed 5-year plan includes $52.9 million in drainage improvements, with over $13 million in fiscal year 16 alone. And to put that into perspective, that represents 40% of the drainage expenditures that have been made by the city over the last 15 years in 1 year, this year. Our citizen satisfaction survey isn't only about gauging satisfaction. It's also about targeting areas where citizens see need for continued improvement. According to the survey, 55% of our residents considered traffic congestion management as the city's top priority. The city has incorporated numerous traffic management projects into the budget, and between the streets and traffic slices of the pie, it is the largest area of expenditure for the 5-year period. By the end of this calendar year, construction will begin to add additional lanes on Highway 6 from Brook Street to under Highway 59 to Lexington. We'll expand from 3 continuous lanes to 4 continuous lanes, plus the turn lanes. In addition, Derry Ashford will be widened, and it'll include additional capacity at the intersection with US 90A, improving access to the Sugar Land Business Park. Thank you very much, Councilman Russell Jones. I know he wants that. That's his route to work. Construction will begin later this year and be completed in 2017. Beyond new pavement, we'll continue our efforts to mitigate traffic congestion through the use of state-of-the-art technology, such as enhanced vehicle detector sensors, which are made right here in Sugar Land by a company by the name of Trafficware that's also in the Sugar Land Business Park. These sensors, called magnetometers, and are the size of a hockey puck, are embedded into the pavement and send data to the adaptive traffic signal control system when vehicles pass over them. The city has installed 800 of these sensors at 22 intersections, primarily along US 90A and State Highway 6. An additional 20 intersections will be equipped with the enhanced sensors this spring, increasing the efficient operation of key intersections. But we're not stopping there. Oh no, we're looking internally to make sure that we're giving our residents the biggest bang for the buck for their tax dollar. We do this by holding the organization accountable to programs that strive to enable performance improvements and culpability are organizational assessments and goal measures. By providing city management with reliable, insightful, and useful information to make sound business decisions, engage the organization's performance. These efforts promise to make improvements today and in the future. The next several years, each department within the city is scheduled to go through an assessment, and we hope to have enough data to publish measures on a community dashboard by the next year. Another initiative to be more accountable is infrastructure and asset management program, becoming more important as our community ages, which focuses on developing policy and practices for wise investment in the management of our infrastructure, addressing the needs of our citizens and making wise financial investments. These types of initiatives illustrate how we're taking steps to continue to build public confidence that tax dollars are being spent wisely. Mayor, I'll turn the presentation back over to you in just a second, but I want to deviate from the script at this point and recognize that this will be your last State of the City. Your contributions to our community are unmatched in recent times. While we have many opportunities to say our thank yous and congratulations in the coming months, including a farewell reception that will be held at Sugar Land Regional Airport on May 12th, I want to encourage everyone here today to please stand and join me in thanking Mayor Thompson for his service to our city. I'm afraid I may have caught him a little bit off guard, but I think it's highly appropriate for you to close your last report by highlighting our goal of strong local economy because you have championed our efforts in this area above all others. Thank you, Mayor Thompson.
Please sit down. My very last instruction to him was no surprises.